Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well today. I wanted to kind of talk about something here, and I know as of late you guys may have noticed I've been talking about a few things. Some may be controversial to some. I'm not taking any political positions on anything, but I do talk about things that I feel needs to be addressed. There are things on this channel that I talk about. I mostly talk about, salvation. I talk about the Lord. I talk about Christ. I talk about practical things as well. I share little things here and there about myself. But one thing that we have to do, even as believers, even though we're in the world, the Bible says we're in it, we're not of it, but it doesn't mean that we ignore every little thing that takes place. Certain things we don't have to worry about, and other things we need to be able to speak on it without taking any political stance, because that's not what I do. But we should be a voice. The Bible talks about how we are supposed to help and protect the fatherless, the widows, the less fortunate. And sometimes we have to be that voice to those who do not have. We need to be the voice to those who may not have, they can't vote. They're not good at vocalizing their concerns and speaking about those things that may be of concern to them. And so that's what we can do as believers. We're not just here to have our heads in the clouds and thinking only about, oh Lord, when you come in on and the sweet by and by, but seeing things that's going on and using wisdom in what we're going to talk about and what needs to be addressed, and things that we know those things are going to work itself out. So something that I want to talk about, because the head of feminism is raising up. And as I said in many videos, I believe the intention of this movement may have been a good thing for equal rights for women, and so on and so forth. But there's a twist and something that's changing where it's becoming more and more, in my opinion, and I know not all feminists are this way, but what we're seeing a lot of up front, up close on television, it's where feminism is turning into, like, to me, it just appears like you guys or this group is becoming very aggressive, very, to me, it's almost like a little terrorist group, okay? Minus the violence. But it is changing from what it was. And I feel because a lot of the people that has jumped on this bandwagon or got in this organization, I feel that their intention has moved from the welfare of the people to self-gratification or vendettas to be paid. That's just my opinion as a woman on the outside looking in. As a woman who have served, a woman who has been a stay-at-home mom before. I've done that. Okay, at some point when I had my first child, I was in the military, and my husband was in the military, and so I decided for a while to just take a knee. I wanted to be able to raise my firstborn, and because you only get 6 weeks, and then they're gonna go to the daycare center. So I have been a stay-at-home mother. Okay, I have also, from going from a soldier to being a working mom, to getting back into the workforce again as a soldier, continuing on, all of those things, wearing different hats. I understand, and I know I have myriads of experiences and shoes that I've been into at some point, being out and not working and all of that and looking for work. So I have unique life experiences, at least unique for me, where I have been the stay-at-home mother, I've been a homemaker, and gone back to being working. To at some point, he got out the military and became a firefighter, and then I was a soldier. I was the one moving us around based on my assignments. So, and then being around other working military mothers, wives. Our assignments require our children and family to pack up and leave. Our husband will have to take a new job, okay, and selling somewhere else. And again, as I said, being the one where I was out, being mom, being at home. He's the one that's moving around. We're being reassigned, following him around, okay? And yeah, to now being a retired military veteran. And being and working in the military, you interact with so many different people, different sorts of women from all over the world, depending on where you're stationed at. People at different stages in their life, from being, young to older than you, being able to adjust to that and working with different types of men. So with that involved, I've never stepped away from the military and stepped away from my life and growing up and being around my mom and my dad and my brothers and my cousins and my uncles and my aunts, and ever just felt like this world is so unfair. Men needs to be taken down. But something has happened here where I feel like the motive of feminism is to completely, it's like a vendetta against men, an attack on men, and I don't think it's right, because men are humans. Men are people. And every man is not like that guy that you dated. Every man is not like that man you married. Every man is not like that horrible boss. Not every man is like that supervisor or those that try to keep you down. And I think that when women get blinded by that and they just have this tunnel vision, it can be destructive. Because I feel right now feminism is just tunnel vision led by an angry mob of women who are playing on the emotion of those who are vulnerable, not as experienced in life, may have had some things happen to them, and they play on their they can play on these individuals and their things that people have gone through. So they play on their vulnerabilities, and it's becoming somewhat manipulating. Okay? So I want to say here in this video that not every woman is on board with what feminism is about. Okay? There are women who are happy to be homemakers. There are women who are happy to be stay-at-home moms. There are women who enjoy being at home and raising their children. There are women who enjoy prepping meals and cleaning the homes for their husbands. There are women and husbands together who they're doing things 50-50. That's what they enjoy. There are husbands who like to cook, they prefer to cook, and the wife prefers to clean. There are husbands who prefer to clean and wives who prefer to cook. There are husbands who are hands-on with the children and they want to be at home with the kids, and the wife goes to work. Whatever the dynamics are, no group, no movement has a right to dictate to women what family is, what it should be, what it should look like, and then talking down against men. Because those men, what women need to realize with this is, the men that they're talking about is your fathers, your brothers, your uncles, and your sons. If we allow this type of behavior and this mindset to continue, your sons will not have a voice. Your sons will have to learn how to cross his legs and dot his I's and cross his T's and not say anything. Your son will be in a position of holding in his frustration because there's a female who's going to make him feel as if he speaks, then he's attacking her. And only women have the power to stop it. Because they can't call me and say I'm a misogynist. They may attack me, they may try to say things about me, but then that only proves my point. That this movement is not about freedom of speech. It's not about women being able to say what they feel and being able to express themselves. They want to silence women if you are not agreeing with them, which is exactly the thing that they claim to be fighting against, supposedly with men. There are women that don't mind a man opening the doors for them. There are women that don't mind being protected by their husbands and their brothers and men. There are women who value the opinions of their fathers and value the opinions of their husbands. Not all men are misogynists. Not all men are lost in trying to take and to stomp on women. Yes, there are cultures of men that may do that. And yet, even in that culture, there's some of them that think otherwise, even though they may not be as vocal. But women all over the world, in different parts of the world, some different from others, and even those that you may think need saving, some of them are okay with it. I'm not talking about those where they're being brutally raped and mistreated and all that. We know that there are nations in which this stuff is going on. But ironically, the places that these movements are really pushing this, y'all not going over there to help those women. You all are in countries where women have freedom, women are thriving, and you're creating this noise, okay? Because that's what it's becoming, creating this noise and creating mayhem for people that don't need saving. I'm always surprised where people who, like, certain parts of the world right now, there are these protests and people are sitting in the middle of the street and blocking traffic about global warming, but they're not going to the countries where where global warming, like say China. Go to China and go sit in the middle of their streets. But sometimes people, their convictions and stuff does not really run that deep. They want to stay in the safe places where they can act up and do things, and there's not going to be too many repercussions. They want to be able to sit in their offices and the air-conditioned buildings and send out a tweet, but they're not really, their convictions is not sending them to the places where the source of the problems really are, because they don't want to get killed. They don't want to get beaten to death. They don't want to get stoned on the spot and beaten all the way back to the airport. You see? Yeah, so there's all this safe play going on. All right. But I just want to say to those who are feminists that not every woman agrees with you. And some may be afraid to speak up because they know that feminists sometimes, some of them, will go against that person. They will demonize that person. And if you demonize another woman or anybody for speaking an opinion, then you're a hypocrite. Your cause is not about freedom. It is about making a new world order. You're trying to bring people in line. It would appear as if you're selling some sort of propaganda and people need to fall in line or else. And nothing of that nature can be right. Whether it's the feminist movement or any group that censors other people, that they can't speak and say this is the way it needs to be, and trying to unravel the foundations of what people enjoy and appreciate, it's not right. There are women who want to hear what their husband have to say. They want to hear what their brothers and their fathers have to say. There are women who enjoy the protection of a man, who enjoy the counsel of a man. There are women who they can sit and they can exchange with their husbands and it's fine. There are people that enjoy their nuclear family. There are women who are not comfortable just leaving the kids at home so I can go to work. And there are women who are working who wish they could be home with their children, that they did not have to send them to daycare, that the children don't have to stay here and there because they have to work. There are women who don't want to be at work. They want to be able to be at home and to work at home and to have those options. There are women who believe that all people matter, men and women alike, and they're not buying into this dogging men out. There are women who don't believe in being aggressive and talking down a person that's asking you questions. There are women that believe that if someone asks a question, you as a woman should be able to answer it or agree to disagree. There's a way to counter arguments, and not every conversation that's not saying what you desire is an argument. We're not all here to attack men. Because when you're attacking men and the society that you're trying to create now, you're setting up a place where our sons will not have a voice. Our sons will have to feel shame. Our sons will have to agree with the feminine mindset. And that's not going to happen. It's not the natural order of things. Because women think the way they think. And while they may agree with some things the man may say, they have a right to think and feel how they do. And men, they think how they think. And while they may agree on some things with a woman, there's certain things that they're just not going to agree with. And they have a right to do that, so long as no one is imposing and destroying one another. But people are not thinking right now. They're thinking of, oh, this movement seems so great. And not thinking, what about your future? What about the future of your lineage? If you allow this sort of behavior to continue, this mindset, this aggression, this annihilating cancel culture, censorship, all the stuff that's going on. We don't all agree. Not every woman agrees. And just because someone is the loudest and they have the platforms to just be yelling at the hilltops doesn't make it a fact. Just because someone has a platform to be loud and to talk and to say does not mean that they and their group that have a platform and have the publicity in some cases does not mean that they're speaking for the majority. There's some women who are offended at the way you speak about men, at the way you speak about men, which will be their fathers, their husbands, their brothers, who have worked hard to be in the places that they need to be. There are women who are offended that you take this broad brush and you're painting all men and all families and saying this is what it should be. There are women that are offended that you dare to want to change the family dynamics in which they embrace and they value. And being a stay-home mom is being scoffed at, and making lunch for your husband or making dinner for your husband is scoffed at. And if you do laundry, it's scoffed at. When in fact they're doing something that is so honorable that not many people get to do. There are lots of people who achieve things in their lives and they're doing great things in their community. But their family, their own relationships with their children, they're estranged because they're always gone. Them and their spouse are like strangers. They become roommates. Or the mom is like a drill sergeant, just comes in the house, making sure everything's dressed right dress. Everyone needs to keep their toes on the line. So that must be a consideration. Not every woman embraces this type of behavior and movement. We all don't want to be represented as if this is how we all feel. Stop saying we. We are not all on board with that. Not every woman is feeling victimized. And there are many women who have gone through things and they have come out on top. They don't want to be sent back to that. Start reminding people that they should be victims. I'm not a victim. I'm a victor. Despite the things and the inequalities that may still be in this world and in society, it is not of such that I cannot go above and beyond it. There are many people, many women who are in positions that are doing just fine. And yes, they may have oppositions and they may have challenges, but that's life. That is life. That's how life is. Women can still strive, they can still thrive, they can do well, and they are doing well. I am not a victim. I will not allow any woman or group to constantly make me feel like I'm inadequate, because in fact, you guys are the problem. You keep bringing things up. You keep making us seem and feel like something's wrong with us. You keep inciting us to find fault in people. These groups keep inciting us to see what's wrong. It alienates us from our male counterparts. You are inciting hate and division between us, that we should look at men, that we should take any criticism or any opinion as a jab against us. And that's an unhealthy way to be. You want us to be hypersensitive and hypervigilant when there is no need for it. And if you're always hypervigilant all the time, truly what will happen, you'll not be taken seriously because you're always hyper about something. I will not look down on my father. I will not look down on my brothers. I will not look down at my male counterpart. I will not blame them for being a man. I'm not going to blame them for being able to think a little bit differently. I will not blame them for giving me some criticism here or there. I should be able to do it. If he does not, I'm not looking at, if I meet a gentleman or a man who does not want to hear what I have to say and he's unreasonable, I am not of such that I cannot realize that it is this person and not all men. Because what you guys are going to do with this organization is you're going to destroy everything. You're going to break down everything because of your experiences and the things that you go through. And a lot of times it is a personal vendetta with a lot of these women. That is my personal opinion. Anything that's telling me, anything where I see a bunch of warring women yelling and screaming at men and yelling and having an attitude and cannot be heard, and they can't say anything and they need to be quiet and they're canceling everybody for everything, you're too soft. That is my opinion as a female. It is life. We're not here to have the bubblegum gumdrop life. If you say something, wham, 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 oh my God, I can't believe you say I'm going to go tell. Oh, if you say something I don't like, oh my God, because I'm a woman. That's unstable. And that's exactly the problem. That's exactly the stereotypes that they have about women being unstable, emotional, everything's a big deal. I mean, if the woman was in the White House, she would have pushed the red button by now. She would have nuked the planet, because that's the behavior that I see right now. And that's not true. But you're painting the pictures because you guys have the biggest mouths right now. You're just doing this, just going, and the rest of us are like, chill out. We understand that there are injustices. We understand that this stuff is going on, but your view is completely pixeled here. Not all men are bad. There are some women who are lazy. There are women who lie. There are women who are sleeping around to get what they want to get, and they tell lies on men. They're terrible female bosses. Most female bosses I've met have been terrible, with the exception of a couple. They're women that cannot just deal with the situation at hand and just let it go. And it happens. And then there's some who can see the situation, deal with it, and move on. They're women who are insecure. They think everybody, because they've had a hard time coming up in their, getting what they need, they feel like they have to fight everybody. They're always in battle mode. You're always in war mode, and it's annoying, and it's disgusting, and it is just making women on the whole look bad. Just because you have a mic in your hand does not make you right. And there are women who appreciate their men in their lives. They appreciate their strength. They appreciate their counsel. And some of them may not be the best that they can be right now, but they're aiming to be. Yes, there's some, they're horrible, they're not trying, but I want you to know something, that does not mean all men are this way. And what you guys are not going to do with your movement is silence our sons and training up our sons to be scared and making women to be bullies. Because you know what? Let me tell y'all something. If we get to a place where we're having the men being afraid and uncertain and unsure and sitting them off in a corner, God forbid that there's some sort of invasion in our country. You're going to want to prop all the men to the front to protect you, when all these years and for however long you guys would have been reprogramming them to sit back and wait and sit on their hands and wait until they're told what to do. Can women protect our nation all by themselves? I guess so. But are men stronger and can do more? Yes, I dare say yes. They're made that way. Can we do more together? Yes. There are women that will sit and have silly arguments about, oh, I can do the same thing as a man. Listen, hands down, with the exception of a few women who have been training, who are unusually strong, who have more testosterone, it's just a proven fact. You put a bunch of women together, you put down the exact same amount of weight on stuff, you're going to see most men are going to be able to pick it up. Women may struggle a little bit. That's just how we're made up. Our bones and everything is different. I hate this silly argument about, oh well. Just go to the gym with a man. Go to the gym with a man and lift some weights with him and see how you're going to fare. Put down some boulders and let this man pick some up, and you go and pick up the same exact thing. Put down maybe just some sandbags, even just some suitcases, and see what he can do with it, and you do it. Even if you just want to have it just picking up 2 small children at the exact same time, and then you move on and go to picking up 2 teens weighing about whatever, pick them up at the same time. See what you can do. See if you can pick up 2 and hold them up. There's difference in the muscle and the mass. And guys, I'm not saying that there are women who are who are strong, who can lift weights, who can do certain things, but they trained, okay? And again, some just had a little more strength than others, but it's not a common thing. I'm not saying that we're less significant or whatever, but I'm not going to have what I call silly debates over the obvious because someone wants to be obtuse and they want to prove a point. And that's one of the things I don't like, the obtuse thing. Like suddenly, let's throw out the fact, oh no, men are not stronger. Okay. Now, I'm going to end this video. And I want to encourage women who, it's going to take us. It's going to take us speaking and really speaking up to these other women that's this way. And let them know, you don't run my household. You don't get to change my life. You don't get to change my family dynamics. Whatever you want to do for your life, you do it for you. But you don't get to impose and keep preaching this message of inferiority and mediocrity and reminding our daughters and little girls and making them feel. What you're doing is you're playing on the pain. And as girls are growing, they're getting to know themselves. And if they're getting the message that men are trying to keep them down and they have to be finding fault, I don't want my daughter always hearing negativity. I want her to know about the real things in life and the things that she'll face, but constantly hearing this argument of victimhood. She's not a victim. She's not going to be a professional victim. She's not going to go through her life being a victim. If someone talks back to you, you're a victim. If someone disagrees with you, you're a victim. If someone doesn't like your idea, they're a victim. She's a victim. If someone doesn't agree with you, oh, she's a victim. It's being a spoiled brat. And it is manipulation. It is no different than crying to get what you want, to disarm people. So now crying, while that still works, the thing is to sue someone and censor someone and claim something. And it's just too easy for people to make claims, unsubstantiated claims against a person, against the man, just because he's a man. And then no, women need to be held accountable, and the book need to be thrown at them. They need to be sued. They need to need to be fined for these just flagrant behaviors and claims, and they get away with it because they're girls. I'm a girl. No, ma'am. And that's something that me as a female, I can't stand it. I can't stand it. It's wrong. You don't speak for all of us. Some of us appreciate the men and appreciate their strength and appreciate their contributions, appreciate their abilities. We appreciate their insights. Men have a way of viewing the world and seeing things that is very helpful to women, just as women have a view and a perspective and perceptions and abilities that can help that man as well. We're not at war with each other. We're not turning this into the land of the Amazons, just all women. We're not doing it because that's going to be a problem in itself. because y'all are too emotional and y'all are doing too much. And then once you've conquered the world and you've conquered all the men, y'all will turn on each other, because that's just a nature of what's going on with you ladies. Everyone's going to have a solidarity to get rid of these individuals. You turn around and you're going to destroy each other, because there's a mindset of do as I do what I say. I don't want to hear anything. Oh, I'm the victim. And if you're always a victim, you're not going to be able to really evaluate yourself and see where you're at and see a situation from a place of just being able to rationalize and see things clearly. If you're always thinking, oh, he's a man, you immediately see everyone else that's hurt you in the past, and oh, I'm a woman, and you start to think of everything that's happened to you, even though you may not exactly be saying I'm a woman or you're a man. There is just this, you're ready to be offended, and it's not healthy. And I know and I believe with all of me that this is not a healthy group. This is not a healthy movement right now, because they're attacking everybody, even other women. You're not going to destroy the family foundations. That is something that I pray to the Lord about. He has created the family. And you're not going to mess that up. You do not have that authority. If you begin to have the authority in what my family should be, then you are no different than Kim Jong-un. Because he decides what you're going to listen to in your house. He decides what time you're going to turn those lights off. He decides how things are going, the family dynamics. When you start getting too much in people's houses and their business, and you start to send a message, you're no different than a dictator. And what people are not understanding is you like to go judge these individuals and how they're running their countries and how they're doing things, but you do the same thing. Just because you do it a little differently does not make you different. You're exactly like a dictator. You're exactly like those in communist countries that they believe a certain thing, what I say goes, and you want to do that in your countries, and you want to call it something different. Evaluate yourselves. That's all I can say. Respect other people's opinions. Understand that every woman is running with you, and we're not going to teach our daughters to have this barracuda mentality, because it is a barracuda mentality. There's too much attacking going on. There's too much victimhood going on. There's too much separation going on. There's too much of a vendetta. When you ladies are sitting and you're in public and speaking, y'all are baring your teeth and getting sarcastic and getting emotional and getting rude. You speak to men the way you guys will buckle and cry and go call out the tribes of, the estrogen tribe come running through. Oh, he said this to me. Let's go. It's ridiculous, and I'm tired of it. This does not come from God. This is not a good thing. And those of you that's in this organization that you may understand what I'm saying, get your girl. Go get your girl. Don't sit there and being quiet, because some of you you mentioning you're going to get kicked out of the movement. But you need to speak up, because it's getting crazy. Let's go back to the basics of whatever this organization was about. Everyone has a right to work and be paid well and to vote and to be treated like human beings. You cannot take on the same aggressive patterns, passive aggressive patterns, overt, covert, whatever it is, and you're saying you're fighting against this, things that happen, but you're using those same tactics. We don't all agree, and that needs to be respected. You don't speak for all women. We do not share the same sentiments. Men are important as well. You will not destroy every man. You will not bring men down to their knees. You will not, the Bible says you bind a strong man, the enemy can come in and destroy the house. And while that has a deeper and spiritual meaning, it has relevance here. You ladies are trying to bind the men. You're trying to bind the men in your countries and in your household, and you're going to run into problems with it. You don't speak for all of us. Respect that.